When you're ready to work with Excel, this is what the data file is going to look like when you open it up. So I saved my output into an Excel file, and it does still give me these commands up here, but that's not really what's important. What's important is that it has put all of the data that I ran into tables. And so I'm able to come down to where the tables are, and now I'm here. I'm finding data that I can work with. So here is my cross tabulation that I did of current asthma by the race ethnicity variable. So this is just one cross tab. Now, if I want to, and you notice here it says current asthma and then the different categories and then the total. So let's say I want to do just a pie chart of the race ethnicity of our population. So I can just highlight that and highlight this as well. And then if you go up here to the top and you click on insert, this is the toolbar that you get. I'm going to pin that to make that easier. So we'll always have that. And you can see here all the different types of charts. So knowing that I want to just present one frequency, that would be a pie chart. So I'll click on that. And then you have different options here. There's my 2D pie. This is if you're breaking things out into different things. Here's the 3D pie. Okay, and I'm noticing here as I'm doing this, that you see at the bottom that Excel is not able to pick up the category names. Even though I highlighted them, it's telling me it doesn't know the category names. So sometimes Excel has that problem. Sometimes it doesn't like things that aren't right next to each other. So to fix that, I'm just going to copy this to another line so that I can work with it. Now, when you're doing this kind of thing, it's always a good idea to keep the original data where it is so that you don't overwrite or erase anything that you have, but just copying it. So now I'm just going to do that, and we'll try this pie chart again. And now you see it's picked up the titles. It's picked up the category names. So if I just click on that, it creates it here. Now this is really hard to work with, and it's really hard to read. So one of the things you can do is right-click it, select Move Chart, and put it into a new sheet. If you do that in a new worksheet, then you end up with something that's much easier to look at and to work with. These are kind of small down here. Maybe you want to change the color scheme. So if you want to make it monochromatic, now why might you do that? Well, I'll tell you, when you're publishing something, sometimes you only have one color available, and it makes it much cheaper than trying to print it in multicolor. So if you have a monochromatic color scheme, that helps with your printing. So you might want to do that. Or maybe you like this kind of color scheme. I'll just put it into blues and greens. That's the one I like the best. And then up here, you can change the chart title, which you'd want to do because people should know what your chart actually has on it. So I would say racial, ethnic groups in California, adults, 2017. So it says the category, maybe specifically ages 18 plus. So we know it's all adults. The year, we know the area, and that tells everyone exactly what we're looking at. Now notice here there's no data that comes up originally. So it's important to put some data on here. Adding data labels at the end is really important. And now we just have the basic numbers. That's not very helpful. Let's format some of those data labels. Let's include things like the percentages. We need to, I think, make the text a little better. Let's make it a center so that it's on the slice. We can do show leader lines, so if we move it away, there'll be a line that goes with it. You see, to show what slice it's supposed to do. So there's all sorts of different options in here that you want to work with and play with to be able to create a chart that actually looks like something people can use and read. I really don't like how small these labels are. That's not working for me at all. So I'm going to make that bigger. And I really don't like how the numbers are formatted with no commas. So we're going to change that. I mean, there's all sorts of different things you can do. So if you notice here for number at the bottom, we want to do the format. Let's see, can we change that to, oh, if we make it a number, it will let us use that 1,000 separator, and I don't want any decimals here though. These are populations, right? Who cares about decimals? So let's do that. I'm gonna click add. Did it update? Okay, so we just have to go through and update. And if worst comes to worst, you can always go through one at a time as well. But usually it's better to just go through the commands here. So it will take some time to format, but you want to do that and take that time to make sure that your charts are actually legible. You can also move this to different places. Maybe it looks better on the right, so it's more easily read. Make it bigger, make the text here bigger so people can read it. So this is all things that you can do to be able to make the chart better. So let's get away from this chart now. I think we know how to do basic pie chart commands. And let's look at some other kinds of charts. So another chart that you can do here, because we have two different lines of data, we have the rates of having current asthma. Well, we have the, let's see, let's go down to a different bar chart. Let's go down to the one with a little bit more complicated data. And here we have having current asthma by male or female by race ethnicity. So these are the counts of people who said, yes, they have current asthma by male or female. So this would be a situation where you would be able to actually do bar charts based on these different types of data. So you want to go through and work through here. So this stack bar chart is actually under the more column charts. It isn't something that comes up by itself. It's this one right here. So you can see it's 100% stacked title. So here you see it does have the male-female headings, but it's having a hard time, again, reading the race ethnicity headings. So we're going to have to do some work with that to be able to do it. But this is what a stacked bar chart should look like at the end. And this will tell you the racial composition of males and females who have current asthma. So you're able to actually look at that kind of complex data and breaking that down in a complex kind of way. Now, the one thing we're not going to want to do here is a line chart because we aren't going to be able to do trends over time. We're only working with 1 year of data, so that would not be an appropriate chart to use.